Here we go again. Donald Trump's schedule for today is completely empty. Yesterday walked away from reporter as they tried to question him. The mounting pressure from the release of the absent email, combined with what appears to be Trump's declining condition, seem to be accelerating the physical and mental deterioration we have been observing. We have been reporting on these issues for some time, and they now seem to be worsening. Once again, he is visibly struggling with even basic tasks such as walking in a straight line or moving about without assistance. When you watched him on that Asia trip, it was hard to miss that Japan's new Prime Minister Takahashi had to physically guide him and show him where to go. Even then, he still wandered off and seems unsure of his surrounding. And during that mysterious Alaska trip a few months ago, when he essentially rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin, he could not even walk in a straight line, zigzagging noticeably. Meanwhile, Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump chief propagandist, keep insisting it's just some kind of Venus issue. Well, we will get to that in a moment, but it clearly appeared to be something far more serious than what she claims. She urges its chronic venous insufficiency caused by shaking a lot of hearts. No, Caroline, no, Caroline. This looks much worse than that. Let's look at just the past 24 to 48 hours. There have been some genuinely concerning signs. Levitt was pressed about Trump's MRI. An MRI they spent weeks trying to conceal. People noticed that in Trump's most recent physical exam taken within the past 6 months, there was a reference to advanced imaging. They tried to pretend that advanced imaging is standard in routine checkup. It's not. So where was the imaging done? Was is his head, his chest, his leg? Where exactly did the MRI take place? Trump eventually admitted to having an MRI and promised, "We will get you the states, the data, the best reports ever." Of course, none of those reports were ever released. The press, credit to them, keeps asking to see the documentation. And Levitt response has been, "I have the report right here." It says great, he's great, no more question. Here's what she said 2 days ago. Let's play the clip.
You recently said you checked with President Trump about wanting to need to get an MRI on his recent trip to Walter Reed. Do you have any more detail on that?
I do, and I'm glad you asked. As stated in the memo provided on October 10th, President Trump received advanced imaging at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of his routine physical examination. The full results were reviewed by attending radiologists and consultants, and all agreed that President Trump remains in exceptional physical health, which I know all of you will see with your own eyes later this evening when he opens up his dinner to the press, and perhaps you will see him when he signs the bill to reopen the federal government. So stay tuned on plans for that.
Yesterday, JD Vance sat down for an interview with San Henry and he reported online he is now used in several interviews, especially as questions about Trump's health continue to grow. Vance almost seems to take pleasure in saying it. Also, this haircut is a bit odd here. He is keeping repeating this point. I serve under Donald Trump. I see how health he is, but if a tragedy were to strike, I am the man for job. I am ready for tragedy hints. It's strange thing to say, especially coming from someone who lies so often. The vice president is obviously next in line, and yet he keeps framing it as though he is preparing for some looming tragedy. It's just bizarre how frequently he brings it up. Here's play this clip.
You seem to go with the flow pretty well. Do you have quiet moments? You think about that? Yeah, honestly, Sean, I try not to. I mean, one, I serve under Donald Trump, who is very healthy.
He casts a pretty big shadow.
He casts a big shadow, but if I served under Joe Biden, I'd probably be worried every minute of every day that he was going to croak and that I'd have to become president. But because I serve a president,
you have a bat phone. Okay, did it just happen?
Like, I'd never be able to sleep. I'd always have my cell phone as loud as possible. But no, the president, one, you know, he's got a lot of energy. He's extremely healthy. So I don't think about that. Obviously, that's part of the job. Is you've got to be ready if tragedy strikes.
And just to show that this is something he reports consistently, here's another example from about a month ago. In that instance, he said, I feel confident he is in good shape. But if, God forbid, something terrible happens to him and tragedy strikes, I am ready to go. He keeps using this line again and again. All right, play this clip.
And why should Americans trust you to lead the country?
Well, I've gotten a lot of good on-the-job training over the last 200 days, but I'll also say that the president is in incredibly good health. He's got incredible energy. And while most of the people who work around the President of the United States are younger than he is, I think that we find that he actually is the last person who goes to sleep. He's the last person making phone calls at night, and he's the first person who wakes up and the first person making phone calls in the morning. So yes, things can always happen. Yes, terrible tragedies happen, but I feel very confident the President of the United States is in good shape, is going to serve out the remainder of his term and do great things for the American people. And if, God forbid, there's a terrible tragedy, I can't think of better on-the-job training than what I've gotten over the last 200.
All right, so you have California Governor Gavin Newsom pointing out that Donald Trump is not in good shape. His medical report from April listed him at 22 pounds, but in my opinion, he is well over 300. And then there was that bizarre line claiming his good health is evidenced by winning golf tournaments. That's one of the strangest things I have ever seen in the medical report, especially considering how often he is accused of cheating at golf. Why that would be included at all beyond me. Then there was his mysterious interview with Laura Ingraham on Fox. He stated, insisting very especially that we need exactly 6 lakh Chinese students in our university because they supposedly smarter than American students. It sounds like he was parroting something Xi Jinping told him when they meet in South Korea, at least in my opinion. And yet, China still has not lifted export controls or followed through on soybean purchases they had promised far, far fewer than were brought under President Biden. I will save that topic for another video. Back to Trump's behavior in that Laura Ingraham interview after the comments about the 6 lakh Chinese students are claiming freer workers and smarter than American workers, and therefore we need more H-1B visas. Ingram tried to pivot. She asked him what he wanted to do next, and he suggested showing her the White House. What follows was genuinely unsettling. He led her around, pointing at different areas. Do you see this over here? That's where the rose garden used to be. Is not it beautiful? Even though it really did not look beautiful at all, the whole moment felt deeply off. Here's play this.
Look at the scene over here, fellas. Look, how beautiful is that? Come on over here, take a look.
This is the new rose garden, but the
And now you can have news, and it's the same stone as the White House. So now you can have news conferences, nobody could stand in the mud.
And then Laura Ingram, I want to be careful how I phrase this, but at time it almost looks like she is speaking to someone in hospice care or an assisted living facility. She is there with him, and if you have ever volunteered or spent time in such settings, you know the dynamic, trying to be hopeful and gently encouraging to be later. I am not suggesting that Laura Ingram is actually kind. In this clip, she is asking him, wow, where did you learn these skills to do all this building, Donald? And he is respond, as a little boy, I would sit there and building things with my dad. I would build things with my daddy. Here, play this clip.
And the Marble Man said, I said, do you think you could book match your event? He said, yeah, look at the other one over there. Book match. But look at the quality of that job.
Where do you think you developed the attention to architectural detail? Like, at what age did you start realizing that's what you could do?
Yeah, I was involved with my father in building and all this stuff, and my father was a builder. So as a little boy, I'd be sitting there playing with blocks, I guess, and my father would be on the phone, and I'd be listening, I guess. And, you listen. I had a father who was very good at building. He was very good at building things, and so am I. I build better than anybody else. Nobody can build like me.
Then he continues saying, I have built many ballrooms. That's my greatest strength. I might as well do this, play this clip.
But I'll show you something. This is the equivalent of what I do with the ballroom. I built many ballrooms and many buildings, and that's my greatest strength, actually. Might as well do this. So this room was in terrible shape. This was done by Jackie Kennedy. Jackie Kennedy Onassis, then Jackie Kennedy, I hope. And she took this area, it's called the Palm Court, and here we had one by one little tiles that were all broken, cheap, out of a box. The walls weren't good. We took it, I restored it. I put in new chandeliers. They had lanterns that were terrible.
I remember this room.
Yeah, it was a nothing room.
Yeah.
It was an embarrassment.
There was a seat, a bench right underneath there. Yeah.
To come to the Oval Office, you had to go through this room. It was an embarrassment, okay?
Much has been made of Donald Trump's interview with Laura Ingraham. Sure, his lies about low cost, defeating inflation, and a host of other things. But what I just show you take it to another level. He actually says, I have built many ballrooms, and that's my greatest strength as a ballroom builder. What what are we even talking about here, folks? He is claiming to be a great ballroom builder. Then Laura Ingraham, continuing in the almost insist living facility dynamics, ask, oh, do you like to DJ? Do you like to play music out here? And Trump's respond, they are in the bushes. The speakers are in the bushes. Play this clip.
Where are your speakers? Because I heard this.
All here.
They're in the bushes?
They're all here.
When did you decide you were a frustrated DJ? How long ago was that?
I don't do that much, but I think having good sound is important because we do now news conferences on this space. As you were probably a victim to it. You'd stand in the grass, your high heels would be ruined. The women are, walking out without. So I had to make it a hard surface. So I made it the same color as the White House itself, which worked out great. We just moved the table.
And then he cannot even get through a sentence without lying or mixing things up. He goes, do you see this? You see this? That's half-inch thick bronze. They do not make brass like that. That's half-inch thick brass. You see the great brass. Is it bronze or brass? What are you talking about? Here, play this clip.
A lot of people are wondering which child would be the best.
In a certain way, they all could. Take a look at this, fellas. You want to see detail. So, like the sign. Most people just do a sign, they paint it on the wall. So that's half-inch thick bronze, carved by a very talented person. And it's brass, it's pure brass. It's half-inch thick brass. And you can't just do that. That's, you look at that, that's quality, right? And then we start with George Washington and we go down to Trump. Pretty cool, right?
But speaking of bronze or brass, did you realize that what the administration unlawfully remaining the Department of Defense as the War Department simply updating all the signs is expected to cost over $2 billion. So while the Trump administration claims it does not have money to help people access their SNAP benefits or to low healthcare costs through ACA subsidies, it is spending billions elsewhere. 40 billion to bail out Argentina, tax cuts for billionaires, and over 2 billion just to change sign for the Department of Defense to the Department of War. California Governor Gavin Newsom and, as I showed you before, Illinois Governor Pritzker have both been in. Pritzker said this is demented human. Trump is just demented. He is showing sign of dementia. Play this clip.
Yeah, he doesn't even know the name of Michigan Avenue as the Magnificent Mile, not Miracle Mile. All I can say is Donald Trump doesn't know anything about Chicago. He still thinks, Chicago is someplace that's on fire, like he says about Portland. The man is demented. He really has no idea what he's doing. And all I can say is it's a great city, and we continue to have great people who live in this city who protect one another against his ICE and CBP troops that are traumatizing our kids in our neighborhood.
And then Congresswoman Ansari, who is widely regarded as one of the strongest voices in the House, wherein she said, "Yeah, he's this guy like dementia adult. He's demented. Play this clip."
Donald Trump is dealing with not only dementia, as I see it, but a lot of delusion. He has never had a plan for health care. Right now, the American public views the Affordable Care Act with nearly 70% approval rating, while Donald Trump's approval rating is in the 30s because he has no plan on health care. I was back in my district last week, and my constituents are terrified as they're starting to receive their notifications about their health care premiums doubling, tripling, or worse. It's heartbreaking.
Take a look at these photos showing the stage of the awareness efficiency. From my perspective, Trump's appear to be at stage C5, C6, especially if you look at his angles. He is what Carolyn Levitt had to say about it a few months ago. Let's play the clip.
Many in the media have been speculating about bruising on the president's hand and also swelling in the president's legs. So in the effort of transparency, the president wanted me to share a note from his physician with all of you today. In recent weeks, President Trump noted mild swelling in his lower legs. In keeping with routine medical care and out of an abundance of caution, this concern was thoroughly evaluated by the White House Medical Unit. The president underwent a comprehensive examination, including diagnostic vascular studies. Bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler ultrasounds were performed and revealed chronic venous insufficiency, a benign and common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. Importantly, there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease. Laboratory testing included a complete blood count, comprehensive metabolic panel, coagulation profile, D-dimer, B-type natriuretic peptide, and cardiac biomarkers. All results were within normal limits. An echocardiogram was also performed and confirmed normal cardiac structure and function. No signs of heart failure, renal impairment, or systemic illness were identified. Additionally, recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. This is a well-known and benign side effect of aspirin therapy. And the president remains in excellent health, which I think all of you witness on a daily basis here. So the president wanted me to share that note with all of you. I'm happy to take further questions.
And here's Donald Trump promising that he had a great MRI and that he would release it when confronted about in a few months ago. Let's play the clip.
This readout from Walter Reed mentioned advanced medical imaging. Did you get an MRI? Can you tell us what that was?
I got an MRI. It was perfect. Yeah. I mean, I gave you the full results. We had an MRI, and in the machine, the whole thing, and it was perfect. Yeah.
Can you say what in particular?
You could ask the doctors. In fact, we have doctors traveling with us, but I think they gave you a very conclusive. Nobody has ever given you reports like I gave you. And if I didn't think it was going to be good, either I would let you know negatively, I wouldn't run, I'd do something, but the doctor said some of the best reports for the age, some of the best reports they've ever seen.
And finally, just to remind you, in past few days, Trump hosted the leader of Syria in the Oval Office. Trump seemed to think he was a good moment. The leader of the Syria, who was firmly associated with Al Qaeda in the region, was there, and Trump took out his cologne, starting spraying it on him, and then began smiling him. Yes, he was smelling the former head of Al Qaeda and the Syrian leader right there in the Oval Office. Here's play this clip.
Men's fragrance. Yeah. This is it. No. It's the best fragrance. Come here, Max. I have more here, sir. Okay. So what we'll do is just take that, Joe, put it in, and then the other one is for your wife. How many wants? You guys I never know.
Honestly, I do not really know what to make of this video. He is concealing his schedule, heading to Florida, avoiding question, and meanwhile the absent email are everywhere. And now he's out there spraying cologne on people, the leaders of Syria, former Al Qaeda associates. It's just crazy. This is not normal behavior. Do not we want to return to some sense of normalcy? Do not we want a dignified leader instead of dealing with all this?